I'll be honest with you guys. There's a weird scene in this. It's warning nudity, but like it's not like a smexy scene. It's a scene. But anyways, let's get on. Eyes watched as the two of you walked through the garden. It had been a while now. I'm surprised that the flowers look this pretty. Tang stopped to view the flower. What? You really think I would let something too pretty die? I smiled, plucking the same flower and dropping it. I know you didn't bring me out here to talk. I looked back to him, and he raised an eyebrow. I don't know what you mean. I sighed, remembering of what Kirishima had told me. You have no intention on fixing your kingdom, do you? The fact that you're losing your wars, trade isn't working out for you? I smiled. So, be true to me. Why are you here? To kill me? Take my kingdom I worked so hard for. I teased him. He sighed and rubbed the bridge of his nose. Are you really that scared of getting killed by others? He questioned. I stopped, looking back at him. I then walked up to him. You are in my kingdom. You are no one here. You have nowhere near yours. Your kingdom is weak, poor, and on the brink of taking you out themselves. They would probably thank me if I kill you. I looked directly into his eyes. Would you like that? I tilted my head. I swear I could see he was sweating just a bit. We stayed like this for a bit. We looked the direction of where the coughs had come from. Kirishima smiled as he had his fist over his head. I'm sorry to intrude on you two. He smiled, tilting his head. But the meeting is over, and his gaze fell down. Rowan needs you. His gaze was not to me, but to the king. I backed away and walked over to Kirishima. What happened to him? I held his collar. I don't know. It wasn't poison. He just... Oh, hey! I started to pull him by the collar to Rowan's room. Well, bye, sir. But she has something to do. Kirishima waved happily. I could tell that something was off about him. I continued to pull him until we got there. The little shit was starting to give me some more trouble than I needed. I opened the door and saw him on the floor, coughing, like he had tried to leave the room. Rowan, what happened? I sternly spoke. I don't know why, but something came over me. I don't know what it was, though. Sitting right next to him and pulling him close to me, he was still coughing. Hey, take your time. I combed through his hair. A maid had brought a glass of water. I took it and slowly moved it to his lips. He took a sip, slowly though, then coughed up something. Kirishima, grab me both the guests. I turned to look at him. He looked confused, but nodded and left. You're all right now, baby. I kissed his forehead. I waited there, holding him. I didn't care who was watching me. The maids, nobles, servants, anyone. I do not care anymore. I guess I did truly love this child. They're here, my majesty. Kirishima as he walked in, the two following. Fine. I'll give you what you want. I'll marry you on one condition. I turned to look at them. Their faces showed nothing. If you lay a finger or a speck on my son, I'll murder you. I held him close to me. Make sure to give them a room. A man nodded, taking the two out of the room. Leave. All of you. Everyone nodded, leaving, except for Kirishima. He waited just a bit, making sure no one was listening. May I ask? I heard. It's not poison, but something else. I paused. I don't know where it comes from, but it has killed people before. I don't know why, but some people just can't eat it. But it was in this morning's breakfast. I know it was. I smiled as his breathing calmed down until he fell asleep. I then heard a noise from Kirishima. "Are you crying?" he asked. I noticed that I was indeed crying. Wiping away the tears, I nodded. "I was worried, okay?" I spoke. I don't know why I care for him so badly. I wiped away my tears that fell onto his face. Ian, no one said you couldn't care about anyone. I felt him lay a kiss onto my head. I waited there. Well, we waited there. Until I stood up with him, Rowan, in my arms and walked over to his bed. He woke up as I laid him down. "Mama," he rasped. "It's okay. Just rest." I lied a kiss onto his head. I walked back to Kirishima. "Make sure no one comes into this room until needed." He nodded, and I began to walk out of the room, hearing Kirishima talk to Rowan. I walked back to my room, closing the door and just standing there. I gritted my teeth. Fuck this! I punched the door, the stinging in my hand not bothering me at all. I quickly undid the lace of my dress, slipping quickly out of it, stepping out of it like some sort of, I don't know, I don't care. I walked over to my bathroom and drew a bath. I undid everything else and slipped in. The nice, warm bath did nothing to help my nerves, nor my muscles, but it was just calming, I guess, relaxing. It was quiet. Mama? I covered my body, only to see Rowan. Wait, Rowan? He was peeking out of a painting, and I sighed. What are you doing? He left the painting and came over. I took a towel and covered my body. No one would let me leave my room. I saw a hole next to the painting, and boom! He threw his hands up. Then they landed on the tub. That would be called a secret passage. I trailed off. Wait, if there's one, then there has to be more. Was there any other way? I leaned. He looked back and walked over. Going in, it was cute how he needed to jump just a little to get in. No, only my room with you. He smiled. Okay. He walked back. Okay now, close your eyes. I waved my hand. His eyes were quick to be covered by his hands. I stepped out of the tub, covered my body, and drained it. The robe was nice, I had to say, but I hope he doesn't see anything. Okay, I'm done. His hand slowly moved to his chest. Now, once again, why did you want to leave your room? I asked, standing in front of him. He leaned down, like he was in trouble. I didn't want to be alone. I sighed. All right, come on. I took his hand, leading him to my bed. Okay, you stay here. I smiled, to which he nodded. I went to grab light clothes and went behind a border. I walked out not long later, and he seemed to be comfy. His legs under the covers, as he played with his feet. He seemed quite happy and adorable. Okay, now, if I stay in this room, will you fall asleep? I pointed, and he nodded with a smile. I sighed. Getting into bed, he laid his head onto my lap. I sighed yet again, but this time with a smile, petting his head. Good night, Rowan. He hummed, and his breathing became shallow once more. You just gave him... Oh, you just give me so much more I can use. I smiled, thinking back to that secret passage. How many more did this castle have? How many rooms were connected by it? How many other secrets did I not yet know? I thought about it and placed a kiss onto his head.